everybody. Welcome to another episode of Smart Tips. I'm here with Sylvia Dahlby and Tyler Coull. We're part of the SmartSearch team. We have really lively conversations about a whole breadth of HR tech and human resources, human capital topics at SmartSearch. So we started bringing them to you in bite-sized bits. And today we're talking about automation and potential job loss, which a lot of people are thinking about. It's increasing. There's some fear around it with robotics and AI. So there have been some stats that have said that 80 million jobs will be lost to automation globally by 2025. 800 million jobs would be lost by 2030. That's a big loss. But then there are also studies that showed that by 2025, even though we might be losing tens of millions of jobs, we're actually going to create 12 million more jobs than are lost by reskilling and bringing people into Web3 and everything from AI to robotics to even the metaverse. So one thing's for sure, we're in for a lot of change, and jobs and the way people are employed is shifting rapidly. So Sylvia, let me hand off to you and see if you have any thoughts on this topic, which I know you do.
You know I do. Well, my first thought was I remember attending a conference years ago, and one of the speakers there was talking about, quote, the jobs of the future are not even open today. So if you look back 10 years, there are a lot of positions that are, we just didn't have, right? Go back even further, and things like, mobile app developer didn't exist. Right. And now it's one of the hottest jobs that there is. So the jobs have always changed this way. But I think what we're really seeing is an acceleration of that pace, like with increased automation. And to me, I think what really employers need to look out for now is that less emphasis on the hard skills and more emphasis on the soft skills, because that's what's going to allow them to keep up, right, and adapt to the changes. So by soft skills, I mean creativity, problem solving, communication, flexibility, right? Can people adapt? Are they comfortable with keeping pace with whatever the changes are in your company? And then helping people upskill to learn the new hard skills that go with that. We were also talking with a couple clients about the need for upskilling and internal recruiting, so that as new positions are created, right, you have people on your own workforce that might be interested in them. So how do you keep track of the career pathing using your technology to do internal recruiting as your company expands into a new line and now you need people to work there? What are you going to do? So look for the soft skills and look for ways to upskill your existing workforce to continue to grow and try and keep pace with the changes that are going to keep accelerating.
Yeah, makes sense. Tyler?
Yeah, great point, Sylvia. And just piggybacking off what you were saying of new jobs coming into the workplace, there's going to be a lot of jobs lost, and there's always going to be a lot of jobs lost as industries, transition to become more efficient. And to Bill's point, there's going to be over 80 million jobs eliminated by 2025, but there is going to be 12 million more new jobs created in that same time period. So, with these new jobs entering into the workforce, these things are going to be like IT security networkers, people working on the cloud, things like that. So it's all, it's all relative, and it all kind of goes in a circle. Whereas, we're continuing to evolve and modernize and become more efficient. And, there was a conference that Bill and I attended a couple of weeks ago, CSP, and the speaker there, Lauren Jones, who's actually going to be doing a webinar with SmartSearch very soon, had a great point to make. And she said that technology, shouldn't be there to replace you. It should be there to empower you. And I think that's really important to talk about as an ATS provider and somebody who provides software, is we're always looking for that next competitive edge to give to our clientele. And as users, you need to really take part and be active in learning what these new tools are. A lot of these providers will do webinars and and host and try to bring on a lot of SMEs. And we've been doing a big push in doing that. And we've seen a lot of positive success bringing on these SMEs who are learning these new tools to empower themselves and the recruiters that are working to become more efficient and automated. And so, going along with that, being a vendor partner and being a client, we need to really come together and work hand in hand to become more optimized and ensuring that the recruiting process and pretty much every process becomes more automated, and that will bring apart new jobs and new responsibilities for people. So don't be scared that these jobs are going away. There's going to be a lot more jobs that come into the market. Renewable energy comes to mind when we think about that. Oil and gas and coal, there's a lot of jobs being lost. But with solar panels and wind panels and things like that, those are all new jobs, and they all need people to service them. There's a lot of coding that goes in behind kind of transitioning this. So a lot of new jobs on the horizon. So no need to be scared, and continuing to work hand in hand with just vendor partners is something I think that we really need to do going forward.
Yeah. Good points. Being a lifetime learner is so important as an individual with your career and continuing to adapt. So I was lucky enough to visit Wavemaker Labs, which is in Los Angeles, and the founder there, Buck Jordan, who's raised tens of millions of dollars for robots that are really meant for food service. Flippy the robot is one of the robots that he has funded heavily. That's a burger flipping and fry flipping robot. And Buck's expecting to be the largest user of robot arms in the world, because they're expecting to have burgers and fries flipped by robots in the future. That's a lot of people in the US that would be basically displaced out of work. McDonald's is already starting using AI in their drive-through. So you might be talking to AI when you go through, if you go to McDonald's, you might be talking to AI when you go to McDonald's in their drive-through now. There's a lot of change. I think Sylvia is right. I think tracking soft skills now, creativity, who understands Web3, who's good at communications, is going to be key to not just finding the talent when you need it internally, but to bringing people along this lifetime learning path. I think employers should really help people adapt in this market. So any other thoughts, everybody, on this? Any other thoughts? Okay, well, for those of you who are watching this episode of Smart Tips on automation and potential job changes in the future, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the industry? We want to hear from you. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next edition of Smart Tips.